This is the plaintiff, Sean Lopez. He says he purchased a boat from the defendant who advertised it as being in good condition. And when he took it out on the water, the thing flooded and it almost sank. He had to be rescued. He's lucky he didn't drown. And is suing this false advertiser for the $2,425 he's now owed. This is the defendant, David Hampton. He says the plaintiff ran the boat aground, damaging the engine, and is now trying to get him to return his money so he can buy another boat. The landlubber ruined the boat. There's no way he's returning his money. He's accused of being all wet.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that he bought a boat from the defendant. The very first time he put it in the water, it started taking on water and almost sank. But the defendant says that the landlubber ran the thing aground and now wants his money back? Come on. It's the case of aye, Captain.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lopez, you saw a boat advertised by Mr. Hampton where?
On Facebook Messenger.
Okay, so what did you do when you saw the boat?
I reached out, seeing what the boat condition was, asked very specific questions if it was water ready. Obviously, you don't want to buy a boat that you can't use, right? So he stated that he did, that it was. And so I went to go looked at the boat and purchased it the same day.
All right, so now he was selling the boat. Is this the advertisement that you saw?
Yes.
Okay, great boat, runs good, rebuilt carbs. That's what, the carburetor?
Correct.
All new seals, new impeller, current tags. Okay. Did you test drive the boat at all, Mr. Lopez, or no?
No. He stated that it wasn't ready to touch the water until the carburetors were adjusted. So same day,
Okay.
As soon as I picked it up, I took it to the shop right next to the lake.
Okay. Why not make him adjust it before you buy it instead of buying it?
In
other words, you bought it, like you're saying, I didn't test drive it because I couldn't. Okay, well, then don't buy it, right? That's one option. It was on sale for $2,500 is what he was asking. What did you end up paying?
$1,700.
$1,700. Okay. All right, so you take it to the boatyard, and what happens? What does the boatyard tell you?
Well, they stated it needed more work than he stated. I have the paper here where they literally adjusted all of it on there, the list of what was needed to be done. And so I still got the work done since I had already bought the boat, needed to take it on the water. And once they adjusted
what work did they have to get done?
The carburetors, the impeller needed to be replaced, the starter needed to be rebuilt, a compression was done to make sure the engine.
Okay, is this the document that you were holding up?
That's correct.
What work did you actually get done?
All of that. They just crossed it out as I paid them.
All right, what did you pay them?
That's the total right there, $1,220.
Is there anything that Mr. Hampton represented? The basis of your lawsuit is what? Because this is a used boat and it's an as-is sale. Your bill of sale specifically has the words as-is, even if it didn't. By default, under the law, it's as-is. And as-is has a meaning. You feel that he lied about something. What was the something he lied about?
Well, around the engine, I sent some pictures in, or around the seal, it was caulking was used to hide it as far as the leaks of the water, which would cost about $3,500 to $3,800 for it to be fixed. And you could clearly tell that it was coated to cover it up, which is what was the main
Show me what it is I'm supposed to see. Go ahead.
That, you see the red and white, it was all covered in white. Yeah. And then once we took it out, you could tell it started peeling off with its original painting. But everything around that was caulking or maybe epoxy white plastered.
Right, but that's visible to the eye. There was no this is a really, how old is this boat, Mr. Hampton?
I believe it is 1967, if I'm correct. Sean, if I'm correct, I don't have, it's 76 Tahiti, yes.
Correct.
76. All right, and these pictures are showing what is it, like he's got his thumb here and some red, and what's going on there?
Yeah, so that's it.
Mr. Hampton, what's going on there? Mr. Hampton, what's going on there?
when I purchased the boat from a gentleman up in north of Bakersfield, that was on there. So when I bought the boat for myself, I bought it for $800. That was already on there, and what I did was reseal it, and so I did put extra caulking on the outside of that. But that red caulking was already there when I purchased the boat.
Okay.
And for the epoxy, I placed that epoxy on at Mr. Lopez's house in front of his apartment when we were there.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, you call Mr. Hampton when you take it to the boatyard and you ask him to help out with the repairs, correct?
Yes, with the carburetors, because there was apparently 2 versus 1. And I had already paid for most of the other stuff that was on that list that you presented. And he was kind enough to go ahead, and he's like, yeah, you know what? He felt bad, and he went and paid them $200 for one of the carburetors. So
he paid $200 for one of the carburetors. So on what basis do you get to return not just return the boat? You want him to pay for all the repairs and pay you what you paid for the boat, and so you get a free boat that's repaired. But tell me what is the legal thing he did wrong?
I feel that in the ad, when I asked him clearly if it was water ready, clearly the boat was not. And as you could tell from the pictures, the caulking on there is kind of what was misleading, right? Because if I would have saw that, I definitely would not have purchased that boat, knowing that there could be leaks, issues of that sort. But he started the boat up when we were there, so he sounded good. He said it was just a carburetor, so I took it to the shop. It got going. But once we got into the water is where the big problem really came into place.
Mr. Hampton, let me hear from you.
Yes, ma'am. I did tell him that day that we were in front of my house or actually it was on the phone, that if he wanted to pay for the fee to take it out to the lake, he can. And that I did tell him, I did re-caulk around that. But I never had it out on the water. I put that in a text message or in the message that I sent over for the evidence that I never had it out on the water. All I did was I stuck water inside the boat as you fill the boat up, because I do part-time. I recondition little boats and etc. And I put the water in the boat. No water came out. I never had it out on the water at all. At that, so when I got the call, I told him in the message, I'm sorry, but I didn't know anything about this. I wasn't trying to.
Right, but my question to you is, when you tell him that I've never had it out on the water, was that before or after he bought it?
That was before I bought it. I told him that in my front yard, we can take it out if you wanted to pay the fee to take it out onto the lake. And he goes, well, I'll go by your word. And that's all I had on that. And I told him it was water ready. It was water ready. It ran, etc. It was ready to go. I didn't know anything about that. All I did was reseal that, recaulk it, because I seen that. And I didn't know any water was going to come in. I don't know that is not my ability to know that. I don't know the mechanics of that part of it. But
no, that's why everybody should, before they make a several $1,000 purchase, test it. But nobody wants to spend. What does it cost to put it on the lake? $100? Like what would it cost?
$25.
$25, but nobody wants to pay $25 and put it on the lake and see if they really want to buy it. They just, hey, you're a stranger. Let me go by your word, and you have no expertise. Let me go by your statement. Great boat. Mr. Lopez, and you have an additional issue, Mr. Lopez, which is that, you complain about it, and then the guy, instead of saying, hey, tough, as is, like most of my litigants do, he turns around and pays $200 towards your problem, which one might call accord and satisfaction. And that's a new agreement between you guys that supersedes anything else. But I don't even have to get to that, because I'm looking at your bill of sale, which is clearly as is. And I'm not really seeing any of the stuff that you paid for. It doesn't show. For example, if a guy says these are 4 brand new tires, and it turns out, no, they're not. Well, you lied. That is a specific warranty. Can you point to anything other than that he says, great, yeah, great boat, it'll be great? Other than that, is there anything specific? For example, he had said that he put in a new carburetor. It turns out now there's 2. So he went ahead and he paid for the other one. He says that there were new seals. Did you find out that was a lie? He says it was a new impeller. Did you find out that was a lie? Was there anything he lied about to you?
Yeah, those part adjustments definitely were part of that. I'm not saying that he lied, but when I did take it to the shop, they did say all the things that he did say that did not need to be replaced were replaced, and they are in the messages that I included in there. He said he changed the impeller, the starter, but that wasn't the case. I still paid those as well. And
well, you paid somebody else to change the impeller. Hold on one second. What were you saying, Mr. Hampton?
I did not change the starter. When we were in front of my house, I started up the boat for him. When they took it to the shop, all of us, they gave me a call. He said, "Hey, the starter needs to be replaced." I just started in front of the house. 20 minutes ago.
Right. Now, the impeller you had replaced, correct? And I saw a receipt for the impeller.
Yes, I do have the receipt right here. It's a really simple thing to put in. You take the 4 bolts out, put it in, put the 4 bolts back in, done.
And the carburetor you had replaced, I guess there were 2, but you replaced 1, is that correct?
There's 2 carburetors. I rebuilt the carburetors. I have the receipt for that as well. I rebuilt the whole carburetors.
I saw that.
I just did not know how to adjust them because they have to coexist with each other. It's kind of ridiculous on those motors. So I told him, hey, you would have to get these adjusted. I don't know how to adjust them currently or accurately. So that's when he went to take them down. When he said that it was going to cost, $400 to have them done, I felt bad. I was like, wow, that's a lot for a carburetor adjustment. So I talked to my wife. We decided, go ahead and give him the $200 for that. And he did say at that point, hey, if you do pay for this, I'll leave you alone from here on out. And that wasn't my decision. That wasn't my turning point. I just decided to help him out because, I felt bad for I thought it was going to be about $60 to do that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Mr. Lopez, you got more than most people do who don't bother to test drive a boat, buy a used item, negotiate it down by $800 by like a third, and then complain later. This is an as-is sale. You should have test-driven it. Anything the essence of as-is is not that both of you were wrong. It's the buyer who needs to beware. That's the saying. Buyer beware.
Right.
It means you got to know what you're doing when you do it. So if you, like many litigants, don't want to have it test-driven, don't want to have an expert look at it, that's fine, but then it's on you. You can't complain about it later. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Great.
Mr. Lopez, what do you think about it? How do you feel?
I feel a little disappointed. I should have at least been reimbursed for the parts that, I paid for as in regards to, he said that he did, but, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Well, you heard the judge. It was an as-is sale, and, like a used car, you kind of get stuck on that situation. Did you really have to be almost rescued from the boat? Really? Did you come close to drowning?
Yeah, there was a lot of water coming in, that's for sure.
What about the boat now?
Well, it's sitting in my driveway. Just got to get rid of it.
Oh, you're going to sell it or fix it up and use it? Can't do that?
I wouldn't do the same thing to anyone else. That wouldn't be fair.
All right. Well, sorry you lost the case, but you learned a lesson, and that's it for that.
Definitely.
Mr. Hampton, it sounds like you tried to be pretty decent to him,
Yes, I tried to be. And then what wasn't brought out in the case is that I went over to his house several weeks later and helped him replace almost everything on the trailer for that boat and helped him do a few other things on the boat. I spent the whole day there helping him on that, not expecting for that to happen. What happened to him. So I had no idea about that. If I knew that was happening, I would have never sold the boat until I got it fixed up to literally have it go out of my driveway.
All right.
So I am sorry to him that those things did happen, but what am I to do at this point?
All righty. Well, you did your best. All right, that's it. So you're free and clear. And that'll wrap it up for the case, Harvey.
Okay, Doug, here's the thing. When you buy something from a private party, you don't automatically get a warranty the way you might get if you buy it from a merchant. And when you buy it from a private party and it's an as-is sale, the only way you can undo it is if there's fraud. If the boat is crappy and doesn't work, you're out of luck.
Marilyn, what is your favorite part about being an empty nester?
Oh, let me count the ways. I miss my children. I love them. I really do. But we visit a lot.
Here comes the but. Okay.
But it's kind of fun to have your life to yourself again, isn't it? Like we go out. My favorite part is that we go out on weekdays now.
My favorite part apart from not having to wear pants all the time in the house, the house is a little more peaceful. You know, it's kind of chaotic with three young
and
women.
Neat. It's neater now.
Much neater. You know, things aren't laying around, and so
we're probably not supposed to answer this way.
I know, right? Kids, I don't really mean it. I don't really mean to hurt your feelings, but you know, some stuff
stuff is very positive.
It's kind of nice. It's a little quieter. You have a little more free time, a little more quiet time, and a little more time with each other.
A little more fun time.
A little more fun time, definitely.